Hello everybody, so this is Best New Horrors Part 3. I made Part 2 back in July, I made Part 1 in June, so those ones are only a month apart. This is 6 months after that one. I got a bit lazy, I didn't make videos for a bit and stuff, and I have been making videos and things, I know that, but this is a list that I built up stuff. I watched a lot of stuff on Netflix, and I bought a lot of stuff and things, so I was just watching through to make a list of stuff to recommend, and there is requests on here that people have given before. Like I've said with these lists before, there is films in here that maybe I don't find incredibly amazing myself, but I do still think that they have their good horror elements, and that I think people that like horror and horror fans will still enjoy something about these films. So that is why they're on this list. There's some on here that you probably think, oh shit, but there's someone here that I think at least there's at least one on here that horror fans will like. So first up, I'm not going to be showing DVDs this time, because I feel like there's stuff in here that I can't show DVDs of, and I feel it's stupid if I'm just showing a poster and then I'm being like, oh, I've got this on DVD, do I really need to show you that I have it on DVD? So, babbling on, let's get into this. So the first up is the Poughkeepsie Tapes. The Poughkeepsie Tapes is a film that had a really small release, very many years ago. It first came out, I've got this stuff in front of me, this is really professional. It came out in 2007. It had this weird release, and then it just disappeared, and no one could really find it. You could find it on DVD in some places. It was a really weird release, and then last year it was put on video on demand for like 2 days, and then it disappeared. And the directors were asked, or the director and writer were asked something like, "Oh, do you know that it was put on video on demand?" They were like, "No, we didn't know about that." And now no one knows what's actually happening with it. No one will know if it's going to get this limited release that it's meant to be getting, or if it's going to just be getting a DVD release. I saw it when it was shown on like video on demand things and that a little while back, and the directors also went on. They went on to make stuff that wasn't amazing. They made the Quarantine remake, which wasn't really that great. They made Devil, and this is one that I will suggest in here. They did As Above, So Below, which I think had its good moments to it. Wasn't completely amazing. It worked with its creepy imagery at points, but Poughkeepsie Tapes is about a woman who's captured, and then you're seeing the tapes of her capturer. And there's some actually really creepy imagery and horrible things that are in this. It's a found footage mockumentary that works and has a creepiness to it. And if you can track it down and watch it, because I can't find it anywhere on video on demand or anything anymore, so track it down, and I'd say that you should definitely give it a watch. The next few are ones that were requests that people said that I should put in this list on there. So yeah, the next few of these are. The next one is The Seasoning House. Seasoning House was done by a special effects guy. I forgot his name. Seasoning House had some interesting things to it. Is a girl that's stuck in sort of like this prostitute horrible house set in wartime. There's some really weird and like great effects in here. Some cool prosthetic effects. It's not the most amazing horror. It isn't completely horror. It's like a revenge thing in here, but it still works and is still interesting with some little things that it does. Next up is We Are What We Are, the remake. I wasn't a massive fan of the original, but the remake did some things that really worked, and it's a pretty good remake. Next up are The Purge and The Purge 2. First Purge has some good moments to it, but is quite a letdown in the end. When I look back at it, it's not as amazing or as great as I first thought it was. And The Purge 2 was one that I myself did really enjoy. I know there's a lot of people that didn't enjoy it because of its glorified violence and stuff, but I think it was one that was sort of took in this escape from New York and these people going through the city and stuff, and those sort of ideas of people escaping through the city while all this horrible stuff is going on. I think it really worked with that and had some really fun and crazy moments to it. And I'm excited to see what The Purge 3 does, even if it is going to be crap or something. But I feel like the ideas are expanding, and like the second one did exactly what I wanted the first one to do, so that's why I liked it. Next up is Daybreakers. Daybreakers is a vampire movie, which is interesting. Ethan Hawke sort of doing his first vampire type role and having some interesting vampire things in it. And I've said the word vampire so many times, but it is interesting with what it does and more futuristic stuff. Next one is Oculus. Oculus is about the haunted mirror and stuff. This was one that had a few jump scares in it, but it felt like it was one of the better horrors that we had last year, which I was very happy to see. I saw it in the cinema, and I liked it for what it did, and I feel like there could be a franchise from this, but I'm not sure. But Oculus was quite interesting with its ideas. Next up is Antichrist. Not completely horror, it's more like a psychological type thing, but it has its horror things to it, some horrible penis gore moments and some very disgusting things to it, which gore fans people may like. But yeah, it's interesting. Lars von Trier doing something that's very harrowing and disturbing and depressing. But it was his first try at him doing sort of a horror thing, and I think it works. And it's one that I've watched many times and always felt quite ill from watching it. But it's an interesting one to check out. Next one is Antiviral. Antiviral is done by David Cronenberg's son. I forgot his name. It's really good with this, but it's got its body horror in it again, and some weird things about this. People can now get celebrities' viruses. They can now, like, they pick celebrity flesh. They can eat this food that is celebrity flesh, but it's not like the celebrity. The celebrity hasn't been killed. There's like a small cell of something that was made, and then they can, in these restaurants, they can make stuff. It's very weird, surreal, but it's an interesting one. Just sort of an interesting new body horror to check out. Next one is the Human Centipede 2. This is one for you gore fans out there. Human Centipede 3 comes out this year, the final one, and I'm excited to see what they do there. Human Centipede 2 did the whole black and white thing, was disgusting and horrible and very, very disturbing what it did, but if you're a fan of disturbing stuff, then I'd say check it out. Next one is Zombie Strippers. Zombie Strippers is ridiculous, over-the-top fun, like it says in the name. A zombie outbreak happens in a strip club, and it's really, really weird. Rob England is in it, and it's very crazy and over the top, but it's like a one location film, but it's fun if you want to check it out. Next one is The Hills Have Eyes remake, a remake that worked for me. I do like the original, but this is one that had its violence, its gore and things. Was done by Alexander I forgot his name, Alexander, but he's done some other good horrors. But it was a remake that worked. I like the original, but this was a more modern, updated version with some more crazy things happening, with some good violence and things to it, and it worked for me. Next two are Cold Prey, which was Cold Prey and Cold Prey Resurrection. Cold Prey Resurrection is better in my opinion. It goes further with its slasher idea and is a lot more fun. Cold Prey wasn't completely unique with what it did, but it's these people going to this cabin in this snow, and a weird slasher being in there. It goes crazy, and over the top. But then Cold Prey Resurrection went even crazier with its ideas and was very, very fun. Next one is The Battery. The Battery is a zombie horror, but not completely zombie horror. It's more about the connection of these friends. I've done a review on it if you want to look at that, but The Battery is really, really fun. It's got a great soundtrack. It sees the apocalyptic world and these two people having to connect that aren't completely friends at first, but there's the problems with them. But then seeing the zombie world out there as well, but more of a relationship between people, and it's a very unique and interesting and one of the best independent horrors that we've had in quite some time. Next one is Bad Milo. Bad Milo is funny, it's silly. It's about a man with a monster in his arse, and the monster comes out when he's angry and things, and some crazy things happen with it. It's got some really great practical effects. It's gory, it's fun, and Milo is quite cute as well as a monster. It's the cutest monster that I've seen in the thing. But Bad Milo is one to check out. Next one is The Signal. I really don't know why I'd never watched The Signal before. The Signal is all these directors doing 3 different stories, but it's got the same characters throughout the film. But it's really interesting. It's got its comedy, it's got its dark moments, and it's very over the top, and it's got its gore as well. It's about these people that see this thing on the TV, and it's all this weird broadcast on the TV. It's set around New Year's Eve, and then from that, these people begin to go out and kill people and things, and it's very mad, and it's a lot of fun though. It's sort of an anthology, but not completely, because it's got all the 3 stories, like I've said, but it works with 3 stories, has all the same actors throughout. I've got to remember who's in it. AJ Bowen is in it. That's who I was trying to remember, but he's in it, and he's great in it. It brings a lot and has everything that you would want in a horror. The next one is The Babadook. The Babadook is a horror that doesn't feel the need to have jump scares. It's got two very, very small jump scares in it, but it doesn't feel the need to have things screaming all the time. It has its creepy imagery, a very depressing and harrowing story, but one that really works. The Babadook is creepy and horrible, and I just really enjoyed it. It's one of the best horrors I saw last year, and was a really nice surprise, because when you see the trailers and it's like you're not going to sleep after this and things, and it is creepy, yeah, and I was like creeped out after watching it, but the trailers made it look like a massive jump scare filled movie, but it's so far from that. It's just works with its nice creepy imagery. It's not nice, it's creepy imagery, but I mean it's nice and fresh that they did those things for the film. And the final one, I've been thinking up more stuff in my head while doing this, but if you want a Best New Horrors Part 4, say it in the comments down below, because the other ones that I'm thinking of at the moment, I think need to go on a new list, because I finished this list the other day and I don't want to go on to speak about more. The final one is one that I watched on Netflix very recently, The Taking of Deborah Logan. And The Taking of Deborah Logan is a found footage movie. The main woman who plays Deborah Logan in it is very creepy, and there is some very creepy moments of this. The ending is one of the creepiest and horriblest, I don't know if that's even a word, things that I have seen at the end of a movie in quite some time. It was something that I wasn't expecting, and I don't know how the hell they did. It looks very practical, the thing they did, but it's very disgusting what they do at the end. But there's also some hidden imagery in here, which is really weird, and the first time I've sort of seen that in horror. I know there's horrors that have had hidden imagery before, but this has some really weird hidden imagery inside it. But I suggest you check it out. It's on Netflix at the moment, and it's very interesting, and one of the better found footage movies that I've seen in a little while. So that is Best New Horrors Part 3. With Best New Horrors, like I've said before, it's more of stuff in, like, it can go right back to 2007 or 2000, even back to 2001. That's what I'm going to class as Best New Horrors at the moment. Because if I was going to do Best Old Horrors, I'd go back to like 1980 or even further than that, like 1970 stuff. Yeah, but I hope you enjoyed Best New Horrors Part 3. If I'm going to make a Part 4, I will not leave a gap this long. But if you enjoyed this, say in the comments down below. And if you want me to make a Part 4, say in the comments down below as well. And what did you like best out of what I have requested or said or talked about? And if you want to see me talk about anything in the next Best New Horrors, say what you think are Best New Horrors in the comments down below. Thank you very much, and thanks to everyone that watched the last stuff, and thank you to everyone that still carries on and watches my videos. Your support means a lot, and yes, I am excited to make videos. I've got my enthusiasm back to make videos, and I'm just want to get back to making a lot more videos, and I apologise for slacking, but life, it happens, and horrible depression happens as well. Yeah. But let's not get too deep into that, because we was talking about stuff today. But thank you very much, and I shall see you all again very soon. Goodbye.